Hi, this is Helen Hardiman of Hardiman Law, and you're listening to Six Wheels Consulting Disability Podcast with my favorite guy, Matthew Shapiro.
Sweet.
Welcome to the Sixth Wheels Consulting Podcast, dialoguing disability and discussing difference, inclusion, and all abilities in today's world. Now here are your hosts, Matthew Shapiro and Bob Nolly.
Hey, this is Bob. How are you? It's Dr. Bob Nolly. Welcome back to the Six Wheels Consulting Disability Podcast. We're very excited because today, Maria Elena Dagenais Lewis is returning to continue her conversation with Matthew. They had talked about her work with RARE in our last episode, so make sure you go back and listen to that. But let me get out of the way and bring them back into the conversation. Here they are.
So to pivot a little bit and to talk about kind of a happier topic, I hope anyway. What is your favorite thing about being disabled? What has your disability taught you in like a positive light?
Oh, I was hoping you were going to ask this. My favorite thing about being disabled is the fact that it makes me me, honestly, because
good answer.
It took me so long to actually accept my disabilities. I didn't really know how disabled I was until I was about 23, 24. And then I started to understand, oh, okay, it's actually a lot more than just MHE. But for most of my life, my disability was my dirty little secret. Didn't want anyone to know. And if they knew that, then they knew the deepest part of me, basically. Like that was ammunition for them too, because every person that I let in, I told them my disability, they used it against me all the time. And they always made me feel so much less than. And so finally, I remember it was about 2015, I was so done with just being depressed all the time and so insecure all the time that I decided to just start changing my thinking, because I really felt that if I could change the way I saw myself, maybe I can change the way my whole world was. Because I always heard change your thinking, change your world.
Sure.
And it's so true, honestly, because it took me a long time, and sometimes I still slip and I still start to like insult myself like internally. But luckily I have my husband, and he like will always remind me who I am and what I am. And it's awesome.
Sure.
But back in the day, I always hated myself. And it was because of my MHE. But now I understand my MHE makes me one of a kind.
Sure. And I can
literally the single person on earth with my entire story, with my experiences, with my scars, with everything. No one else is like me. And so literally I'm 1 in 7.5 billion. And so that was really a big confidence booster for me when I was trying to like fake my confidence, was when I could tell people you'll never find anyone like me. I actually meant it because of my disability. And that's really empowering to me.
And I can echo your husband's belief in you, and I can also say you're a pretty badass chick who is doing a lot of dope work around not only rare diseases but just disability in general. And I think one of the really important things that you sort of talked about, and this is why I'm glad we're talking, is you talked about how you just want people to really understand what disability is and the positivity behind it. And that's really one of the reasons we do this podcast, is to, really peel back the curtain on, here's what disability actually means. And it's really not, it's not a negative, if someone is disabled, and you can live a healthy and amazing and wonderful life, even with your disability. So the fact that you said that certainly, reinforces what we do here on the podcast for sure.
Oh yeah. And I feel like, honestly, no matter what, I see myself as living proof with that, because I've always been disabled. I've been bullied. I've been ostracized. I've been robbed. I've been raped. Every bad thing you can ever think of happening to someone probably happened to me. And honestly, though, I wouldn't change a single thing, because it made me who I am. It's given me the empathy that I need to be able to have the compassion to change the world. And when it comes to disability, if we don't start being raw and if we don't just start saying how it is, because I've had to like tell people I'm not complaining when I'm telling you about my day. I just can't help that I'm disabled and always in pain and dealing with doctors. Like, this is my life. It's my normal. It's always been my normal. It's never a new normal. This is my normal. And so when it comes to being disabled, if we make it seem like it's a bad thing, of course, Hollywood is always going to make movies that make disability seem like the worst thing to ever happen.
Yep.
Like this morning, I was just ranting on my Instagram how much I can't stand those movies that able-bodied people become disabled and then wheelchair bound, and then they kill themselves because they don't want to be a burden to their family.
Yes. No, Bob and I've touched on that many times, actually. So that's very true.
Like, I hate that. And so what I really want to do with Rare, because I have so many skills when it comes to communications. I am a freelance consultant. I do television production work, like for full-time work. So I have so many skills when it comes to the media, when it comes to video production, graphic production, creative services, a lot of different things. And with Rare, I really want to just make a blast into that industry, honestly, and start producing some content that shows accurate, inclusive representation. Because I think the only people that can truly get that out there are the people who live it.
Yes, and so, I could not agree more.
That's what this weekend, like you and I were doing that little seminar thing with the first webinar for the disability rights movement. Yep. And that's going to be the first video that we're really producing with Rare to try and start getting accurate content out there, because, I mean, every little bit counts. And I'm so overwhelmed right now that I really can't do much because I operate out of my bed. Like, I don't get out of bed. I left my house for the first time in 6 days yesterday. And I just went to get milkshakes and back home.
Nice. I love milkshakes.
Oh, it's so good. It was a banana pudding one. And it was
oh my God. You said the secret word just like that. Oh.
Great.
So, Marie, talk to me about, you and I know this project that you just mentioned, but tell our listeners what we're attempting to do.
Oh, yes. So we are attempting to start the inclusion revolution, basically.
Yeah, we are.
We are demanding that disability rights get taken seriously, that we deserve equality, we deserve constitutional rights, and it's about time we get it. So this weekend, we are going to be recording with a few different advocates from around the world. We have one in Amsterdam, we have a couple from all over the United States, and we're going to be having our first open discussion about the ableist society that we live in and how do different disabled people experience it. Because, again, like I was saying in the beginning of this, we all experience stuff differently. And we cannot act like our experience is the experience of disability, because everyone experiences something differently. Like, so many people I've talked to have been homeless because of their disability. They've lost their mom because of ableism in the healthcare system. Like, there's so many raw things that is so deep and people wouldn't realize all are tied to the ableist systemic societal norms that we have. And so we're going to be starting off by just exposing it and saying, how do you feel? Like, this is how we feel. We're tired of it. What about you? Tell us your story.
Yeah, and from my perspective on this too, I know for me, like, I have just wanted to start a dialogue around ableism, around disability, around just bringing other people together, because I've always been very frustrated by the fact that there is really no unity around disability issues to be taken seriously from legislators and decision makers who make decisions on policies and other things that affect people with disabilities, but we can never get anywhere. So I think for me, the big motivator about this conversation we're going to have this weekend is really to to start that dialogue and figure out how we can sort of come together as people from all over the world to, like you said, sort of demand change a little bit.
Oh yeah, because seriously, my eyes have been opened a lot with the disability community this past few weeks, like months, because really a lot of people who claim to be activists, who claim to be mental health advocates, who claim to be disability rights advocates, they are so full of it. I really think they're just claiming that to try and get a following on Instagram, because their actions are so opposite of what they're saying. Like, me and my husband, we were actually almost canceled in the beginning of June when we first launched Rare because of someone's personal opinion. And It was just, that's why I'm sick now. It was so upsetting, so frustrating. I literally am in one of the worst players I've ever been now because of it, and I might lose my career over it. And you don't think that stress can cause that to someone, but it happens to me.
Sure.
And it's really upsetting because everyone in the disability community needs to come together. We all have the same mission: disability equality, disability rights. We all want to be seen. We all want to be heard. And every single one of us has a different experience. And I don't agree with the communities that separate it based on diagnosis, because that's like segregation. Like, yeah, we have different diagnoses, but we all have the same type of experiences. You're not going to get rights just because you have fibromyalgia and I'm in a migraine group. We need to come together. And so that's what the Rare community is all about, because we're Rare advocates who represent everyone. Every single diagnosis you could have, you're welcome in the community, because that's what we need to actually start a revolution.
Sure. I mean, I love it. And I've talked about on a number of occasions, the segmentation amongst the disability community drives me nuts. Like you said, there is no unification around just issues, whether that be globally or whether that just be here in the U.S. And so, maybe this is the start of something pretty cool. Bob, do you have any questions to follow up?
I'm just really moved by the passion with which you all have expressed in just these last few minutes about this event you are going to do this weekend. So, why don't we just take a moment here to make sure you guys get the word out on the work you're doing and when the public might be able to see the results of that.
Yeah, so God, let's hope I don't get another stroke and the results will be soon, because it's so hard for me to set deadlines because, again, my condition's so unpredictable. So we're recording it on August 8th, and I want to have it out within the week. So hopefully it'll be within the week on my YouTube channel, and then we can start spreading the word everywhere. We'll say that, but also, I want to say too, this is just the first of many conversations we're going to be having, because there are so many different aspects and different topics that we need to start full on addressing. And if anyone wants to ever be a part of it, they're more than welcome to be a part of it too. They can reach out to Matthew, they can reach out to me, whichever, and we'll figure out a way to get them involved, because the whole point of everything is to get the voices heard. And I don't mean the voices of the big influencers, the ones that everyone hears, the ones with all the following. I mean the voices, the people that no one pays attention to, the ones who are struggling to get heard, the ones who always get overlooked. That's who matters to me.
See, you got me fired up over here. I'm ready to run through a wall and do what we gotta do.
Let's go get some disability rights.
That's right. I like it.
Also, I just want to make sure too, I specifically say this before we end this, because it's not fully known how bad the situation is with disability rights, because so many people who claim to be disability rights advocates fight me on the facts. And the fact of the matter is, disability is the only minority that lacks constitutional protection under the 14th Amendment. It was decided in 1985 by the Supreme Court of the U.S. Even though the Supreme Court of the U.S. ruled in favor of the disabled party, it also ruled that the disabled was not allowed to use the 14th Amendment in their case because the disabled are not a historically discriminated against group. And what that means the Supreme Court of the U.S. in 1985 told everybody that discrimination against disabled is socially acceptable. It is socially acceptable for eugenics, all of the forced institutionalization that is in the very recent U.S. modern history, totally acceptable. That's okay. It's totally acceptable to fire someone based on their disability. It is totally okay to not rent to someone based on their disability. It is totally okay to be ashamed of your disabled sister. Totally okay. That's what the Supreme Court said, and it's not okay. And it took 5 years after that for the ADA to happen. And now it's been 30 years since the ADA happened, and nothing's changed. The ADA, honestly, to me, is just, I appreciate it. Don't get me wrong, I really do. Because if the ADA wasn't there, I would have nothing. But still, it's not enough at all. And people need to be angry about it, because if they're not angry about it, nothing's going to happen. I'm just going to keep getting told that it is what it is when it can change.
Bob, I feel like I'm listening to myself on the other side of this conversation.
It's just a wonderful conversation. Hey, Marie, you said you don't do a lot of social. You're not going out posting pictures of food and stuff like that, but you do go out there for support. If people hear this and want to find you and connect with you, where should they go?
Yeah, so I am very active on social media, on Instagram for disability rights. I share my artwork on Instagram too. That's basically what I use Instagram for, and my art for is to advocate for disability rights. So you can follow me at Rare Advocate. You'll have to type it out because I always make complicated names.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. It's on Instagram. You are r.a.r.e.advoc and the number 8. So it's Rare Advocate r.a.r.e.advoc8.
Yep, that's my Instagram. You can also join the Rare community. The Rare community is a free social network that I created. I don't really promote it that much because I don't have time. But it's there for anyone to join. They're more than welcome to ask me to be a blog contributor. It's there to basically mentor people into learning how to be an advocate if they want to. And if they don't want to be an advocate, then they can just come for the supportive community, because that's what social media for me is all about. I really hate the negativity on it, but I really love the fact that you can change a life on it as well.
Sure. Well,
you can go to the Rare community at www.rareadvocatesrepresentingeveryone.com. And also you can find the link of that in my bio on Instagram.
Yeah, and Matthew, we'll put that up on on your website when we post this episode as well. So when we go live there, people will be able to look you up there. So I know the two of you have known each other for longer than I have, but I'm telling you today, this conversation has kind of been a fork in the road for me, and I'm taking a lot away from it. And so, Marie, thank you very much for being here.
Bob, can I ask something real quick? How? I'm intrigued. How has it been a fork in the road for you?
When I hear not just Marie, but the two of you talk about passion for this topic and for this community, and how you are building something and try to infuse that passion, whether it's creating a place for people that are going, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore, or people that just need an ear. And because that's a very wide range. And, it's not very often that for whatever the cause, you could come together, create something that can do something with that breadth of range. And when I hear Marie talk about her being able to do this with all the diagnoses she's facing, I hear she's a production. I went, I need somebody to produce a video for me for my, my other side hustle there. I'm like, but she didn't have time to do that. But, she's the exact kind of person I would want to be working with. And I hope when people hear her voice, either here or through all the other social channels she's on, they'll feel the same way.
Oh, I love to talk.
Yes.
Yeah, you guys just reach out. I love to talk, and I would love to help too with the video project. I'll make time. It always happens.
well, here's the other piece of the pie here. You don't realize that since you've been on today, you are automatically promoted to co-host. So now, of course, that's not a big deal for somebody that sits in the director chair. But, your co-host means you could come back anytime and bump wheels with Matthew and throw the issues around on whenever you would like to. So the door is always open. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to the Six Wheels Disability Consulting Podcast with Matthew Shapiro. Our guest today has been the lovely and multi-talented Marie Dagenais Lewis. Please come back sometime soon, and we would love to talk to you again. All right, everyone, think inclusion, keep rolling forward. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.